Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our match preview for Crystal Palace v Aston Villa. If you're new to the channel, make sure you are subscribing, smash the likes. Let's have a like target of 800, and most importantly, comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Joined by Justin. How you doing, mate?
All right, bit of a cold, but we'll plough on regardless.
Yeah, we will plough on. Games coming thick and fast.
Exactly.
So
No
it's
time to
been
rest.
Yeah, it's been a big week for Villa. Some big results, big performances. Getting a point against the team that are literally probably going to be announced Premier League champions. So that was a good point at Villa Park. We backed it up with a big result against Chelsea. And no one needs to tell us that we need to back this one up and sort of keep it going. And this is another big game coming up as well. They're all big games now for Villa towards the end of the season. But just reflecting on the week that's just gone, how big a week do you think it was for Villa? Because I feel like it was a very big week for the squad to build a sense of togetherness / foothold with the new players to sort of, and even though we've been playing games before these new players, I feel like because there's so many new players, it's about sort of coming together collectively, getting the results, getting the performances, and building together. And I think that's huge for players like Asensio, Rashford, Garcia, Marlon, and the current players that we've got, that it felt big. It felt like we were building towards that game against Chelsea. We were able to get the victory right at the death, and you want that now to sort of snowball into the next game. So how big of a week do you think it was for Villa?
Absolutely massive. You know, we went through the transfer window. We did all the changes. We've recruited really well, as we've seen. But it was, the key is not only bringing them players in, but getting them all assimilated in the squad, settling them all down, getting them all up and running, and hitting the ground running. It's so important we hit the ground running. We had 3 games in a week. All right, the first one you expect us to win, we didn't, but the other 2 were very, very difficult games. So hard games to come in and try and get going straight away. But I think we've done pretty well, to be honest. 5 points from the 3 games. As I said, I think on the fan cam, was probably about where everybody would have thought we would have been. I don't think anybody expected the 1 point to come from the first game, but I think it was okay. But because we're in this real hectic, and it's going to be like this till the end of the season. It's so important we try and get, which we haven't had all season, some kind of momentum and some kind of settled form now going forward. And I think to get all these players in, gel them all together, keep the team morale going with the little injuries, the niggles we're having a lot of lately as well. It's just critically important. So I always felt these 2 games were going to be similar to the City and Arsenal week from last year, but I think it's looking like it could do the same for us as well. We'll know very quickly because we've got 3 away games now, and our away form hasn't been great. So hopefully it'll kick in.
Yeah, and just taking a look at the Premier League table, we've put ourselves right back in the mix now. And yes, we've played a game more than everyone else, but it is what it is. We've gained a point, should we say, on that week that the other teams will be playing, because that was the Liverpool game, and that's in a couple of weeks. But we've really closed the gap. We've closed the gap on Forest now to 5 points. Still have to play Forest at Villa Park. We've got Bournemouth. We've got Brighton still to play. We've got Fulham. We've got Brentford. We've got Man City. We've got Newcastle. So these are all the games that we've got to play, and they're gonna feel like 6 pointers really as we edge towards the end of the season. But I think we're back in that mix now. We're only 2 points behind Newcastle as well, which is huge as things stand. So I think it's put us in real good shape. And I think the big thing for me is, like what you alluded to, just that you need the new players to bed in and hit the ground running. And oh my days, have they bedded in and hit the ground running. Villa's attack now is just absolutely lethal. It's so scary. There's options everywhere you look. And I was watching the game on Sunday and the graphic popped up on the screen. Aston Villa are number one for set piece goals this season. And I didn't hear nothing from a guy that normally loves to go on about the set piece coach in Jova, but Villa are up there now. We're playing a team that I think they're joint second in Crystal Palace as well. So, not only have we got firepower from open play, but our set pieces currently this season are the best in the Premier League, and we are at the top. So we've got the options there. You can see it from Marcus Rashford's dead ball delivery, in Asensio's dead ball delivery as well. He's very, very good. So they're not only adding to open play, that they're adding to set pieces as well. So that's really pleasing. So, Justin, we'll touch on Villa's new attack and attacking players. And I think it's key that we attack Palace as well. And they are going to be crucial in this game, aren't they?
Yeah, massively. We've certainly, it probably was a little bit surprising that he left Rashford out from the start, but I think when you analyse it deeply, he hasn't had many minutes, has he? And we've got to be careful with him. We've seen so many of these niggly little muscle problems and pulls and strains, and where we're out for 2-3 weeks, and we don't want that. He's immediately becomes such an important player for us. And you look at his impact off the bench yesterday, and we've got really good options now in that front four position. So I think it's critically important they all stay focused on what's coming, stay realising, I'm sure they do, that it's going to be a squad game for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks at least. And they're all going to have to play their part, and they're all going to have to be ready when they're called upon, whether that's from the start or after an hour or whenever. Last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, if you need to be thrown on to change the game, then that's what we've signed these players for. As the old adage goes, we've got other ready players, haven't we, that are ready to come on and just impact games. And I think hopefully the defensive situation is starting to right itself a little bit now. Good news on the horizon. Obviously, Consa being back. Pau Torres, hopefully not that far away. Disassi now is available for every single game. So hopefully, and I've got to give him a lot of credit once again. Lamar Bogard stepping into the breach, and he was excellent. He was really, really good against yet another difficult opponent. They were pushing, obviously to try and nick the game. They did have chances, but he defended brilliantly. So he's a really, really good, and has been, and he's becoming a very important member of this squad now. And I think you can't really underestimate the importance of having a player like that that's come through the ranks that you can call upon. When Mings went down and it looked like he was going off, I know he came back on and tried to carry on for a little bit, but I wasn't phased at all when I saw Bogard getting stripped. I thought, yep, he'll do a job. He'll come on. He'll put his body on the line. He'll throw everything at everything. It won't be for a lack of effort, and he's a talented footballer as well. So we're looking like we're shaping up to have a really, really, really good finish to the season. And if we can just get consistency, which has been the key word all season, scary to think what we could achieve. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like in the back of my head, I feel like it's all going to come together in the end. That's how I feel. There's no point going early and then faltering. I mean, last season, especially, we were creaking towards the end of last season, and we just got over that line, didn't we? Some of the results.
I'd much rather start slowly and build momentum.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
how you win stuff. You see this in. I mean, I know it's a different format, but you see this in World Cups and European Championships. Teams that start slowly and start building momentum, and finish, hard and finish, in better form. That's the teams. Man United did it for years. They'd be decent. They'd get to March and they would just flick into overdrive and they'd blow everyone away. The Man City of the last 4 years that won the last 4 trophies. A couple of seasons they were looking like they were going to drop away. All of a sudden, I think when we played them last year, they never lost a game, did they? After we beat them, that's a sign of a very, very good side. And once again, another indication of why we went out and did what we did in January. We needed reinforcements. We needed a boost to the squad. We needed to give everybody a lift around the place. And the stuff I'm reading about, I saw a youth team player mention that he trained with Rashford, I think, and he said he couldn't believe it. So the lift it's given everybody and the fans, to be honest, hopefully with a couple of more decent results this week, we really, really could. You know, if we by the end of the week, if we beat Palace and we're through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, that level's just going to go up another notch, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved how we attacked the window as well. We didn't just rest on our laurels and feel like, oh, we've got out the group stage of the Champions League. That's a great season for us, and sort of go, we've had injuries, and let's just park this season. And we didn't do that. We went out to improve, and that's what I loved, and that's why in my head I'm feeling that we got big things to come. And we kind of had this feeling sort of in Unai's first season when we were on that run to the Conference League. It was heavy momentum right until the very end, and we was able to do it. And I don't know, the goal the other night against Chelsea, a late goal. Those goals can do a lot to you. That they can do a lot to your squad, because we've saw what conceding a late goal can do, which is what we did against Bournemouth early on in the season. And then we went on this run of probably where our worst form of the season was, but getting that winner hopefully can transcend into more positive results. So just touching on the defense, and I think the defense is obviously going to get better with I think Sassy comes in and Pau should be back, etc. But are you still a little bit worried about our defense? Is it a case of we're still just going to have to outscore everybody because we are going to concede, or do you think the defense can come together?
If you want me to be brutally honest, and it's very rare you'll hear me say these words, I am concerned about our defending. And I think initially when we was conceding earlier in the season, seemed to be every game, I was thinking, okay, you know, it's just one of them things we haven't settled into the team, and you know, things just aren't. You know, we'd lost a couple of really important players, hadn't we? Especially Douglas Luiz, who I thought really knitted us together last season. You know, the way he shielded the back four, him and Kamara was such a great shield, weren't they, for our defences? And obviously Kamara wasn't there, Luis wasn't there. So I sort of was excusing it all the way through, and I was excusing it. But now we are getting towards the business end of the season, and the final sort of strike, the last 10 games, we're still conceding silly goals. We're still making silly mistakes. So I am concerned. I am very concerned. But I think we've got to park that for the last few games of the season. We've just got to say, almost Newcastle-esque back in the day when, you know, if you score three, we're going to score four, and that's not always going to work out. And it's not a great mentality, because you can definitely come a cropper. You've only got to miss a couple of chances, and all of a sudden, and you don't want to be scoring 3 goals to win every game, do you? That's just not going to happen. I think it's something that needs to be addressed in the summer. I think it's something that you need to go away and have a real think about. You know, I was talking to Guillaume Balaguer, luckily, yesterday, and he said the same thing. He said Emery will go away and he will look and look and he will evolve and he will evolve and he will evolve. He said a very interesting point, which I wasn't that aware of, to be honest, that he won 3 Europa Leagues playing a certain way. Then he went away and changed the way he played and won another one because he had to. It might be that in the summer he'll have to come up with another way of setting us up in the Premier League to try and address the biggest issue we've got this season, is conceding too many goals. You're never going to achieve elite mentality, elite status, and win things season in, season out if you cannot keep the ball out of your net. It is an impossibility. You know, our goal difference is -2. That is dreadful for a team that's trying to get into Europe. And, you know, I don't think there's another. Every team above us, they're all plus. They're all plus double figures: 12, 14, 10, 15, 11, 28, 38. You know, we've got even the teams below us. You got Brentford on +5, Tottenham, who have been dreadful all season, on +15. You know, we're in the category with Everton on -4, Man United there are sat at -7. We're -2. It is a huge, huge issue. I'm not being negative. I'm being a realistic pragmatist. I still fancy us to do things this season. I still think we can get past it. We've just got to be very, very careful. It hasn't helped, obviously, that we've had so many defensive problems. We've played, it's almost like a different defensive 4 every week, isn't it? And not wanting to run our defenders into the ground. You know, Cash has had to do it on his own, but we've got a really good player now to challenge him with Garcia. Luka Dean has been our standout left back all season. And I like Maatsen. I think he's still got a chance. We haven't seen the best of him yet. That's my thought process on him. He's good going forwards, but defensively, he is a bit of a worry. Hopefully, that will just keep improving. And I'm thinking maybe because he hasn't had as many minutes as he probably would have hoped to have. So there's lots of issues at the back. We know that. But I think we're just going to have to park it, hope we can improve in the short term, and then really address it again in the summer.
Cool. Right. So we got Crystal Palace away. They've lost their last 2 home games. They've only won 2 home games all season. So bodes well-ish, I
Don't
guess.
say it. Don't say it.
They're in form though. They've got the last 5 games have got 3 wins. We've played them twice already. They're a team for me that could and have posed us big problems in the past. And I'm about to show you why. So I think Emery has got enough data to suggest how they play against us and what they want to be able to do. So this is the formation of Crystal Palace. So it's a back 5, 2 holding midfielders, 2 number 10s. The 2 holding players will sit deeper. They will stay in and around that area. 2 wing backs will bomb on and get forward. And then you've got the 2 inside players that will be in and around these areas. If they're on the counter attack, you've got the players that will be in those zones, can pick up the ball and drive forward. Mateta can drop deep. Players can run off Mateta, which is a goal that we have conceded ourselves. They can cross the ball from left to right, right to left, wing back to wing back, score goals. So we've got to make sure that we are covering the back post as well. And I've just highlighted some of the areas in which they've posed massive problems against Villa, and it will show you the areas that we don't want to be losing the ball, and we've got to make sure that we are structurally correct to break down these counter attacks. So first slide, number 1, is when Mateta drops deeper. And then, like I mentioned, we've got a player that's driving through there. We've got a player that's going through there. So when Mateta drops and they've got those runners, we've got to really make sure that we are touch tight to Mateta. A centre-back has got to follow up Mateta, make him struggle, and stop allowing him to get that ball comfortably and get into those areas. You cannot allow Mateta to have that much space in there on his own to just pick up the ball, turn, and then spread play. It's a disaster against Crystal Palace because this is one of their playbooks that they want to get him deeper and get the runners going off him as well. We've got another situation through here. As you can see, Mateta in there again has come deeper. He's controlling the ball and he's about to spread it through there. We've got another runner going on through there. So the theme is, if you actually look at this screenshot here, there's not a Villa player anywhere near Mateta. And it's just a disaster if you're going to play like that against them because he is a powerhouse. He can pick up the ball. He is quick. He can drive with it as well. So he's one of the players that we've really got to make sure that we've got a better game plan for. Again, if you lose the challenge in central midfield and you don't get the ball, then that little through ball through there, and then look how much space the Crystal Palace players got to drive into, and there's not a Villa player that's anywhere near that area as well. So you can sort of see the areas in which they hurt Villa. It's when on transition, we're out of shape, and then boom, ball over the top. Just clip it into a little channel. Allow players to run onto the ball. So these are all areas that I think we've really struggled against them. Again, here now, we can see that there's a wing back on that far side over there. And then we can see Munoz, who's going to arrive late into that box as well. So, when they do get the ball and when they do break, they do have trigger moments where certain players go. It's like, right, we've got the ball. Munoz go, Mitchell go, Eze go. We've really got to make sure that we're comfortable with the ball. We keep in possession in good areas. If we lose the ball, we're structurally set with either three at the back or a midfielder that's sitting a little bit deeper. So these are all just the general ways in which Crystal Palace over the last couple of games, especially against Villa, have been hurting us, because we've had good possession against them in the Carabao Cup this season. We were pretty decent against them at home. I think it was when Barkley scored the equaliser, but we got done by sort of counter-attacks, and we just can't allow that to happen, because at home, they've only won 2 games. So if we rock up there with our style and our possession and we just keep it ticking over, we score early, we back it up with another goal, we really can compound more pressure on this Crystal Palace side. So, yeah, these are the things that I really don't want to be able to see. They've won their last 2 away games. So away from home, think about what they're doing away from home. The home team's having more of the ball. They're playing on the counter. They're breaking on teams. They're decent on set pieces. So you've just got to be tactically switched on and aware of everything that's around you, because within the blink of an eye, they'll go back to front really quickly. So, yeah, I don't want to see any of these screenshots on the tactical debrief on Wednesday. Justin, how are you feeling about playing them at Selhurst Park?
Well, if you look at the form at home, you'd be fairly confident of going there and getting a result. I mean, let's totally ignore the result at the end of last season. There was lots of mitigating factors on that one. They're a good side, isn't they? I mean, I think 13th in the league doesn't really tell the full story. They've got a really good spine to the team. I like Dean Henderson. I think the 2 centre-halves, Gahey and Lacroix, have been absolutely outstanding for them. Eze, they lost what's his name to Bayern, didn't they, in the summer, but they've retained Eze, who's just a wonderful, gifted footballer. And Mateta leads the line really, really well now. He's coming into his own, isn't he? After a dodgy start to his career at Palace, they looked like they didn't have a forward amongst all the ones they had, but he's definitely pushed himself to the front now, and he's a proven Premier League, goal scorer now. I think 11 odd goals in the league this season, something like that. So he's up there with Ollie Watkins for how many goals he's scored. So you've got to take them very, very seriously. I always think when you look at a team that's very good away from home and poor at home, it means that teams that attack them, that they can pick off, like you're saying, and maybe when it's on them to go forward and it's on them to be the aggressor, that's where they're struggling. So how do we attack the game? Do we go there and be positive from the off and try and play through them? Is that what cost us last season? Was we too aggressive and they just sat back and picked us off and used their really good attacking players to really win the game? It's a difficult one because it's a tough place to go. Selhurst Park, we've got 3 really tough away games now. But having said that, they're 13th for a reason. They concede as many as they score. They're not prolific. They can definitely concede goals. So they've got weaknesses in the team, and I think we've got to back for the rest of the season. I'm just going to back us to get the job done in every game. We're not going to win every game, we know that, but we've got to go out, and we do go out to win every single game, and we'll be going to Palace to beat them, no question. So it'd be interesting to see what he does with the team selection. He didn't play Luca Dean the weekend, so I would imagine he comes back in. It'd be interesting to see what he does with right back. Probably Garcia comes back in. Disasi's back, so that immediately for me is probably more stronger. And weird as it sounds, I'm happier that we're going to be stronger at the back against Palace than we was against Chelsea. That's really important for me, especially with the likes of Mateta and the attacking output they've got. So yes, the 2 players that worry me the most for us currently are Tielemans and McGinn, because they are doing it all on their own now, and they're in probably the most difficult position, to deal with a centre midfield in that pivot where they both run and run and run and run. So they're being run into the ground at the moment. So we are desperately, desperately needed at least 1 or 2 of our other midfielders back. We need Barkley, we need Anana, we need Kamara back as soon as possible to take the weight off these lads' shoulders. The front positions, we know now we've got a depth and a wealth of talent there that we can chop, change, start, leave, bring on. So forward-wise, I've no doubt we're going to cause them problems. We've got to make sure we take our chances. Hopefully, we're better at the back. But, it's a game we've got to... Yeah, it's just a game we've got to embrace. We know we've left ourselves a bit to do. Not impossible by any stretch of imagination, but we've got to have a solid last 11 games of the season to give us any hope whatsoever. So in a way, It's probably better. This time last season, we was in that position and we had to hold on to it, and we ran out of steam at the end. Now we are chasing it. It's a totally different way of attacking the season, and sometimes it's much better to know you've got to chase it because you have to leave everything out there. You know exactly what you've got to do. We've got to win as many games as we possibly can with not many hiccups. So we're going there to win, and we've got the attacking firepower to win. Can we keep the back door closed? We will see. But a clean sheet would be much, 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 much overdue.
Yeah, I mean, this game kind of style-wise reminds me a little bit of Wolves. I think, they play five at the back. They're a little bit similar to how Wolves sort of play, and we were bad first half against Wolves. And you take away that it's at the Molineux. I mean, I'll use that as the excuse. But, I imagine we are going to go there and want to control the game. And that's all what I was talking about earlier. It's okay controlling the game, but you can't concede and start chasing the game. So I want us to really be on that front foot quickly and early and just play with as much energy and pace and power and really test them, because we're used to playing Saturday, Tuesday. Palace are now playing Saturday, Tuesday. So how can they sort of recover and go again? And do you know what I mean? So yeah, I want to see a big performance from Villa. So predicted lineup then, Justin. This is what I've gone with. I'll tell you why. I think he
Agree.
wanted to rest Digne for this game. That's why he played Maatsen. Disasi can play on that left. He played there for Monaco. That's where he was fantastic for Monaco. Konsa and Garcia. I think Cash, did he take a bit of a knock? So,
Yeah.
Maybe Garcia straight in for this one. And then if Cash is available, which I hope he is, then, he can do that rotation where, he used to rotate Digne and Moreno. He'll probably do that with the fullbacks there as well. Double pivot. It's like, oh, where's he gone? It's like a brick wall in it. It's just, we shall not be moved. Them two. Oh, what's that going on? Right, that they will not be moved. Right, so let's put the double pivot in. Probably the easiest positions to pick. He keeps mentioning that Barkley's not far away. I'd love him just to be on the bench. Just to.
Is he back on the grass? Is he back on the grass? Do we know that?
Well, he's saying he was still
Dear.
feeling some pain, so I have no idea what's going on there.
Nobody talks about
Onana,
Disasi either.
no. Onana, I want him back.
Sorry, Onana. Sorry, not
Yeah,
Disasi. Talk about Onana, are they? He was in the tunnel giving them all high fives after the game, so hopefully he won't be too far away.
yeah. Well, I think he's not far away at all, really. So hopefully he's not far away. Right. The exciting part to our team. I'll kick it off then with Watkins up top. I'd go with what I think, and then you go what you think, right? So I'm gonna go
I'll
with.
stop you when I disagree.
Okay, right. Hold on then. Right. Okay. Right. I go with my next position then. Do you disagree?
Nope.
No. Okay. And I think. Oh, what am I? Why does Disasi keep disappearing? I think Rogers took a knock. Asensio had a bit of strapping on, but I think that was just strapping. Oh, this is tough because. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. That's what I think, because I think if Rogers had a knock, he might be rested. Can Asensio play again after playing the 90? What do you think?
Defence, goalkeeper obviously goes without saying.
Yeah,
Defence, midfield, totally agree. Rashford definitely starts. He was off the bench. Watkins definitely starts. The two question marks is basically where you're hovering and hovering again is 10 and right side. Now, I would definitely concur that Rodgers came off limping. I think he'll be fine, but I think it's utterly ridiculous to play him on Tuesday night. Happy for him to be on the bench as long as he's
yeah,
not in any problems. Great player to come off the bench. I actually also think that Leon Bailey looked sharp as I've seen him for a
Mm.
very long time when he came in against Chelsea. He was taking people on. He got to the byline. He was putting decent balls in. His control seemed better. He wasn't giving the ball away. His head wasn't down. Again, this is the knock-on effect of buying players in your position. You have to turn up. I do wonder maybe whether we might see Bailey and Marlon. Now,
Mm.
who would play where? I suppose you would
This would
say
be,
Marlon playing off Watkins, yeah. That
but
potentially could be what happens.
I will caveat this here actually, and I will think about it actually. I don't think we can do this because what this would mean is that Bailey's high and wide and Rashford's high and wide. Whereas normally one side is high, the other side tucks in. So
Well, that's why, would you not say that you'd play Bailey off Watkins, which he used to do when we had Diaby, and then Marlon plays out? Because Marlon can play anywhere across that front four. He's a pocket knife utility player.
no, honestly, I think it's got to be this. That's what I think because then he can drop into there. He can play more inside. Rashford stays wide. Garcia can offer that width through there, and then we can get that little bit of a vibe going on. That's what I think.
I think there's a potential if Asensio plays that Bailey could play on the right.
Yeah, but I
I
can't
think
see
it's
both.
Marlon or Asensio.
Yeah, but I can't see both being high and wide though. That would be something that we've never done before.
So you're basically saying you think Marlon's more of a McGinn type where he can tuck in and play more defensively if needs be, and more player that will be more susceptible to coming back, tucking in, and
Yeah,
not
I
leaving
mean,
us a bit.
he full well can play out wide, but
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
I just feel
but
like
that role
what
you're
we've got.
saying that role on the right hand side has to be more of an all round defensive and
Yeah,
attacking and tucking inside role.
if you've got Rashford who's wide on the left, if
Yes.
Rashford's not playing, then you could go, for example, Ramsey could play where Rashford is, and then Marlon stays wide, and then Digne offers the width on the left.
Okay. How about then just a left field idea? Just throw this one
Go
out
on
there.
then.
Could Rashford play on the right?
Don't know,
And
can
then
he?
Ramsey play on the left. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could, but
Because
I don't. I
Ramsey
just
gives
don't.
you that defensive solidity as well. It's almost like a mid. Instead of playing a forward that can play midfield, you're playing a midfielder that can play attacking. Ramsey gives you that. Obviously, he's more of a midfielder that can go forward and drive and carry the ball. Marlon is more of a forward that can play defensively. Like when McGinn plays the right side, he's a midfielder that can get forward. Marlon's a forward that can defend and midfield. Ramsey's in the same thing. So maybe, what about Rashford? I think we're overthinking it.
I
I'm
do
shutting
too.
up now.
I don't think can go on the right.
No,
If I'm being
Rashford's
honest.
playing and he plays off the left, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. So
It's
yeah,
just
I
what he
think
does
that.
with us. Said depending on Asensio, I think it's all down to him. I think it's
Yeah.
not at the moment. I wouldn't want to see him play 3-4 games in a quick succession because whilst he's not old, he's still getting up to the pace of English football. He didn't play regularly for PSG. He was a substitute playing the odd minutes here and there. So to suddenly play 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 3 times in a week, I wouldn't want to put that pressure on his limbs
No.
and his to give him any kinds of injury. So we'll see. I tell you what, these team news drops are so exciting. I've always liked them anyway, but with our attacking output, and
Yeah,
it gives you a
because
real insight into how he
yeah,
thinks the opposition is going to be and how he matches them up, doesn't it?
because like back in the day when it would drop at like 2 o'clock and you'd just get Twitter meltdown.
Yeah.
He's shit. Why is he playing? He's absolutely crap. I won't play him. And like, you don't get none of that no
To
more.
be
It's
fair,
like,
I had a bloke behind me. Was it behind me or when the team news dropped? I heard him say, "Why has he dropped Ramsey?" I was like, please, can we stop this? He's not dropping anyone. We've got a squad of players, and he's rotating them to keep them all as fresh as we can. Nobody gets dropped anymore. It's not the 80s when you drop someone.
Yeah,
Chill. He knows what
yeah,
he's doing. Chill.
yeah. It's about just fine. We are getting to the back end of the season, and we've had loads of injuries. It's about managing the workload, isn't it? It's like that's why he put Matson in for this one. I imagine full well that Digne is coming in, and I imagine that was probably Unai's plan. Whether Matson had an absolute worldie and scored an hat-trick at the weekend, Digne was probably going to come back in for this game. So that's our lineup. This is what we've gone with. Partially, we don't know whether Justin agreed with it in the end, but that's what we've
I
gone
do,
with.
yeah, I do. I tell you what,
So
one thing I will say before you finish, I think Marlon deserves a start. He's been so good. He's been so good off the bench, and he's done enough to deserve a start in the rotation.
I agree. So Villa fans, let us know your thoughts. What would your front four be? I imagine everything else probably is the same as what we've gone with. So Justin, we'll go score predictions. Something's come in my head, and I've got Leicester City vibes when Bertrand Traore got the winner.
Oof.
I feel like a 2-1 Villa win, and we just keep that momentum going. So I'm going 2-1 Villa. Who's going to score the winner? Oh, Rashford's due a goal. He's so due a goal now. So I'll go Rashford. Rashford winner. Justin, what are you going with?
I agree. Rashford is due a goal. I think the one moment when I felt so sorry for him, he drove at the box against Chelsea. I don't even remember it, and he was in full flow, and he knocked the ball past one, and he just missed the other one and you could tell if he took that other touch, he was just going to bury one in the bottom corner, and you can see when he gets in his stride. Honestly, I can't wait for him to score. We were all pretty close, weren't we, against Chelsea? We all said 3-1, didn't we? It was just one goal away. I'm going to go for a surprising score here.
1-0.
We are going to keep a clean sheet.
Imagine. Do you know,
2-0.
thinking of Mateta, Disasi will be key against Mateta.
Yeah.
Because he likes that physical battle. He's great in the air. So watch out for Disasi and Mateta. Right, Villa fans, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, hit the like button. Up the Villa.